We are almost done. Thanks for hanging in there. Before we get started, we wish to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. All right, so today we are going to talk about the general validation questions that we have, things like location and positions. That should be fairly quick, and then we'll jump into the provider validation. That should take about half an hour. And then Dr. Chen, at that point, will let you go, and you can hop over to the order set session that's happening concurrently where they are designing your fetal surveillance module. In the provider validation, we're going to go through a day in the life of a provider in the clinic as we are imagining it based on our previous conversations, all of the different ways that you'll interact with Cerner in order to manage referrals and enter orders and view results. Then we'll do the clerical validation, going through how to essentially mostly how to get referrals in, external referrals and lab work, and then how to make appointments. So please mute when you're not speaking. I think number 2 doesn't quite apply because there's really just Dr. Chen here. We know who you are. And feel free to add any questions to the chat. All right, let's jump into some introductions. So starting with Dr. Chen, I'll let you go first.
Sure. So I'm Dr. Chen. I'm the maternity provider and champion, I guess, CST champion for our group.
Thank you so much. I haven't seen Kimberly or Suzanne yet, so we'll come back to that. My name is Emma. I'm the clinical informatics manager for VCH. And with us, we have Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the clinical informatics specialist for Lionsgate Coastal for maternity, helping with this clinic.
Wonderful. And then I might do the quick version. Most of these names are familiar, and so you would have met several of these folks already at the previous design sessions, but I do want to point out Dr. Grafstein, who is with us today.
Hi, Dr. Chen. I'm an emergency physician and your chief medical information officer, and I'm just here to support you and yeah, make sure that things work out. And I just wanted to thank you for participating. It's, you know, it's hard work because it's not fun work, and but I appreciate you leaning in, because this is the only way we can know that what we're gonna implement works at Richmond. You know, the good news is worked at most of the other sites, all of the other sites. So I think we can come up with something, but just wanted to thank you.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Vanilla.
Thank you with Jessica. We met before for our champions. Thank you for being here. Just as Eric, just here to support you and the team to make best decisions.
Thank you so much. And then I'm not sure if Maya is with us yet. I don't think so, but we do have a lot to talk about relating to lab results today. So we do have Rana and Nancy who have joined us today, and then Maya, who is going to be jumping on, I believe, as well, to support with those questions. And then there is a whole other cast. We'll point out Florinda, who's going to be doing our clerical demo. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's, is this slide 9? No, not slide 9.
I can do it. No worries. All right. So the purpose of the validation session is to review the completed clinic CST Cerner build and workflow for this clinic. So a lot of this has been built in our build domain. We'll look at what we need to look at today and go through, you know, the naming convention for things, make sure it all looks right. And our scope includes, you guys chose option 1 from our last session, which is registration and scheduling, referral triage and management, provider electronic order entry. And then you're keeping your documentation on paper, so the antenatal record and any notes if you decide to do that. And then antenatal transcription will be done by birth center. So we'll get into the general clinic validation first. I kind of just went over option 1. this spells it out like a little more detail. This one also calls out that what we spoke about at our last session was using Message Center Clinic Inbox to review patient results, which we'll talk a lot about today. And then also using WorkQ Monitor as an electronic fax option. I didn't realize this was on both sides. Apologies for that. All right, so we're just going to validate the positions briefly. Our clerk is going to be the scheduling clerk RHS WorkQ Monitor, which is the standard scheduling clerk position. For the providers, you're all GPs, so you're going to be using physician GP OB, so it has all the maternity functionalities. And then Suzanne, as our manager, will be patient care manager and OB nurse because of her maternity duties. And our location validation, this is just showing how RHS Noakes will look in Cerner. So the facility is RHS Noakes. The unit description, when it's spelled out in full, is RHS Noakes Maternity Clinic. Yeah. And then the medical service we'll be using is family practice. Is that right? Because you're all family practice.
I guess so. Yeah, that is true.
Okay. All right, so now we'll jump into the provider validation because I know we have a lot to chat about today with all of our folks here to support as well. Okay, so first I just wanted to go over this slide to start so we can, understand basically what's in Cerner, what's in not, what the daily flow looks like. So on the right side of the screen here, we have provider of the day responsibilities. So if you're the one on shift, these are the things you'll be doing that are, not directly patient care. So reviewing patient results, and we'll talk about this a lot more later, but we're using CST Cerner Message Center, and there'll be the Noakes Clinic Inbox, as we discussed the last session. And also the responsibility for triaging clinic referrals. So using that referral management page in PowerChart, which we showed last time, but I can show a lot of this later or anytime you want as well. If we get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't remember what that looks like, please show me. I've got it ready to go. So that's a provider of the day responsibilities. And then for the daily clinic workflow, like when you're seeing patients, the first step would be using CST Cerner Ambulatory Organizer to find your patient's schedule. And I can show you what that looks like if you want. Again, and then reviewing the patient chart. So I know you're not going to be doing too much actual documentation in PowerChart, but you can still go to the results review tab to look at labs if you want. You can go to documentation to see if there's any notes written on this patient from other visits, and then using the orders page as well. And then documentation, you've determined that you're going to use paper, so you're entering a record and notes. There's always the option to use the documentation templates in Cerner for you. That's going to be a choice for you if you want to do that or not. Paper is fine. And then for orders, you'll be using CST Cerner Quick Orders to order outpatient prescriptions and labs and diagnostics. And then I just added in there, when you do write a prescription for the first time, if your patient doesn't have allergies documented on there, I know you write this on your internal record, but it will be something you have to do before you write a prescription. It's a few clicks, and I can show you what that looks like if you like. And then for patient departure, you'll use CST Cerner to place a follow-up order. And then you can provide your patient with any printed prescriptions or requisitions, which will print out from Cerner when you place the orders in the system. Is there any questions about any of this or things that you would like to see specifically?
So if I understand that correctly, the orders and prescriptions are being faxed out as well as printed?
No, you don't have to do any faxing. When you place the order in Cerner, it prints out a requisition that the patient will take with them to bring to if it's for labs, they'll take it to Life Labs with them, and if it's for diagnostics, they'll take it to either the Richmond diagnostics imaging.
So there's no way through Cerner to order that directly, like to fax it to the provider.
Sorry, what? Oh, sorry. Are you talking about faxing prescriptions?
Like lab requisitions or diagnostics.
If they're, do they typically go to the hospital, or do they go to the outpatient?
They go to both, but I would say 50-50. Like if we were doing an ultrasound for Brook Radiology, that we would have to print that and give it to the patient. It can be faxed directly through CST Cerner.
There's not an interface to their clinic, no. You're gonna have to give that to the patient, yeah.
But any internal imaging or labs, they'll be able to see that at the Richmond lab or Richmond Diagnostic Imaging. You shouldn't have to fax that. But yes, for extra, I know a lot of your patients go to Brook Radiology, and I guess it sounds like they have to fax that, and the
And-
patient can also have a copy as well.
And similarly for prescriptions, they would have to be printed for the patient, correct?
Those can be faxed to the pharmacy of choice.
Okay.
And they can be faxed electronically.
Okay. And I'm assuming the directory of pharmacies will be the usual, like the common ones or all of the ones in Richmond. Is that true?
The pharmacy will be all the pharmacies in BC.
Okay.
You can choose from. I mean, there'll be the option of choosing the patient's preferred pharmacy, like up to 3, but they can choose from anywhere.
All right, any other questions here before we move on? All right, so next we're going to jump into referrals and orders. So I guess we can talk more about that if you have more questions for that. So this is the order that's been built for your clinic. If someone was going to refer most likely from within Richmond Hospital, like if they went to Emerge and then they wanted to refer this patient to the Noakes Maternity Clinic, they would place this order and it would get to Kim, and she would process it and that way. So that's just what the order is going to look like for you. I know you guys receive most of your, like Kim said, probably 95+% of yours are external referrals, but this is always your standard clinic bill. And then there's also an accept referral order that you can place when you're accepting a referral. And then the follow-up clinic order. So when your patient is when you've already seen your patient and you want them to come back, you can place this order and then put in the priority and the type of appointment you want and appointments requested, and any special instructions if you want to put like come back in 2 weeks or a certain amount of time. But the priority will also have options for that as well.
Is that order to be placed like after every visit? Because usually right now we just tell the patient and they go up to the front and they just schedule them.
That can certainly be done as well. If it's, for larger clinics where it's not quite as direct line to the clerk, this is a way of getting around that so that there's a record that you want to follow up. If it's just as simple to send the patient to Kim, it can be done that way. And then they can book right on the spot as well.
Okay. Visits are just so frequent that like putting an order in doesn't seem practical. Because it's like there's a set schedule for the OB visits. So it's every 4 weeks, then every 2, and then every 1.
Okay, and the next one, this is just something we decided to bring up because you asked in one of the email threads about referring to anesthesia. So it apparently the CST Cerner workflow for referring to PAC is typically through the OR booking package, but we know for your purposes it's not because they're really having surgery. It's to like assess their back, ultrasound, stuff like that. And I guess we've asked, and it will follow your current state paper fax workflow. So whatever you're faxing right now to the PAC should still be able to be your workflow, and you can fax it to their number. And we are going to make sure before go live that the number remains the same, and your faxes don't get sent to the wrong place. So yeah, that workflow is just going to stay current state because it's a bit of an unusual one. Next, we were just going to validate referral management. So is it correct that you guys only do you triage all referrals or just new patient, or just for the first? I don't know. I guess I'm trying to ask what ones you're going to be triaging, if at all.
I think most of the time Kim just books them. I'm trying to think. I think she asks us to triage them if she's not sure if they should go to OB or to us, or if there's an overwhelming amount of referrals and we have to prioritize who gets seen first. But I think the majority of the referrals she just books in. Like there's, I think we deny very many.
Yeah. And that workflow can definitely remain. If there's ones she doesn't know about, she can send them to this referral management page in PowerChart, and just the provider, they will just have to review if there's anything here. When you click on the patient, it goes directly to their chart. So if there's you can go to their documentation and see the referral package there that Kim's indexed. Yeah. Do you want to see that in any more detail, or does that sound okay?
I think that's okay. I guess once everything's implemented, there will be some sort of process to kind of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like in the live process, like in the, to see how things are flowing and making sure that,
Yeah,
right?
you know, it's not like once we go live, you're
Everything right now,
abandoned,
everything
right?
feels theoretical.
Yeah, it's not like you get left to your own, like, especially like in the first month of this, especially in the first month of support, when we find issues and things that don't work, you know, they usually fall into three buckets. They're good, they're horrible, and they need to be fixed, and they're kind of, well, I don't know. So, and so sometimes with the, well, I don't know, we say, we'll see how it goes a little longer, but yeah, like everybody goes through this journey, everybody comes out alive. You know, you know, as I like to say, there haven't been any runs on the torch and pitchfork store. No one's going too crazy, but we have had times with some clinics where things haven't gone perfectly well, and we've had to fix things. So, you know, we're prepared to do that. That's the message you should give to the group. We're willing to work, you know, we're going to work with you to make sure things work out.
Okay.
And there's lots of training leading up to the live where there's opportunity to use the system, ask questions, all of that. But I'm happy to show you anything today if you need more help visualizing it. So just let me know.
Okay.
And then the next thing we're going to validate or just talk about is ambulatory organizer. So this is another page in PowerChart. And this is where you as a provider will see your schedule for the day. This one's obviously a little bit threadbare. There's just one patient on it, but for your whole day, you'll see everyone and you'll see what time they're coming in, how long their appointments are, their name. It's just basic details. And if the status, it'll say if they've been checked in, which means that they're, you know, waiting and ready for you. So this is the application you'll use, and you'll use the resource that's RHS Noakes Maternity Physician. And that's what you guys decided to schedule, just a generic maternity physician instead of individual, just because there's so many of you. Yeah. Any questions about that one?
Nope. And then I guess there's next one. Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about documentation, which we've determined antenatal record will stay on paper and provider notes will stay on paper. There's always the option to use the CST Center note templates if you desire, but you don't have to. So there's no change from current state here, basically, is what we're saying. And if you do choose to use a note template, you'll most likely be using the OB Clinic Note free text, which distributes to Accelerus and Care Connect. Just free text because you want one that's not going to try to pull in Cerner stuff, because it will be blank because you won't have documented too much in Cerner. But you can create auto text that will pull in labs and stuff if you want. But anyway, we can get into that in training if you want to learn more about that, for sure. Suzanne's here. Okay, next we're going to talk about Message Center. We'll go over some of the standard build stuff first, and then we'll get into the clinic inbox when we talk about results. Do we know if Maya's here, Emma?
I haven't seen her yet. I'll just ping her.
Okay, no worries. We have a few minutes or slides or whatever. Okay, so there's some Message Center pools that have been built for you. So there's RHS Noakes provider. The pool members, you're all gonna be able to opt in during your provider personalization closer to go live, but I have like a bit of a list here. The team lead will be yourself, I think we determined. And then for the RHS Noakes admin and the ambulatory refusal inbox, it'll be Kimberly as the team lead. So it's usually whoever's the lead for clerical. And then now we're going to hop into talking about the clinic inbox, which is the institutional entity. Oh, sorry. And we'll validate the flag. So if your patient gets admitted to the hospital, the Kim will get a message to the Noakes Maternity clerical pool. I'm just letting you guys know that, and then she can, forward it on to you or action in whatever way you guys determine. Sorry, I forgot about that slide.
For the last page where we had the team members, like I just noticed a few at like just there's missing a patient or missing a provider and one provider is leaving. Is that information that you want, or can that be up, or does that need to be updated later?
I think you have to opt in during training anyway. What do you
Okay.
think? Do we need to know these names now? Probably not.
I mean, we might as well take it since we've got
Oh,
it.
sure.
Who's
Okay.
leaving?
James Kong, James spelled the normal way, and KONG is missing from the list.
Okay.
And Vicky Tong will no longer be working with us.
Okay. Our trusty note taker will note that for you. Thanks for that. Okay. I think I got this list from your website, so that's probably why it's not entirely accurate. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the clinic inbox solution, and I can show you how it works in the system. I'm just going to go through some slides to like explain it again first. So just let me know if you have questions as I'm going along. So the clinic inbox is an institutional entity where you can receive internal and external lab results and also internal imaging results. So there's not one individual responsible for taking action and clearing messages sent to the clinic inbox. It's the responsibility of the clinician of the day. So this is one of your provider of the day responsibilities that when you're on shift, you'll check this and go through results. The responsibility for sign off is the physician of the day who's reviewing the results, and their name will be associated with the review action when they're proxied into the clinic inbox. And there is a chance to add comments when signing, reviewing results in Message Center. You can also forward them on to someone if need be. And any of the comments and secondary features can be audited, which is just another feature. Okay, and then so in order to get results to the clinic inbox, there's two scenarios. So the first scenario is this one where you're ordering any labs, medical imaging, cardiology from the RHS Noakes location in Cerner. So when you're at the clinic and you're ordering any of these tests, the clinic inbox will automatically be CC'd. You'll see that the CC provider 2 will be grayed out, but actually in the background, it's sending it to the RHS Noakes clinic inbox. So that's scenario 1. So any order placed that way, the result will come back to the clinic inbox if it's labs done at RHS, labs done at Life Labs, or imaging done in Richmond Hospital, not the external. And I have a chart later where we can talk about how that works. The next scenario is if you're placing, sorry, the example's not entirely relevant to you, but if you're in the inpatient space and you're about to discharge a patient and you want their results to go to Noakes, it won't automatically be CC'd, but you will have the opportunity to use the CC provider to field, and you can type in RHS Noakes Maternity Clinic and it will come up, and that's a way to get those probably most likely lab results to go to Noakes, and they'll go directly to that clinic inbox, and I'll show you how that looks in a moment. And I just made this chart to kind of like break down what goes where. So from Noakes, if you order labs to the Richmond lab, or I mean, it doesn't matter where you order them to, but if the patient goes to the RHS lab or Life Labs, you'll get those results in the clinic inbox. The only labs that you will get instead via fax in Work Queue Monitor will be Life Labs that are ordered by an external provider. So like if someone's referring to you and they're sending you labs, they'll come through the fax machine as per usual, but it's electronic fax now. If you order medical imaging from Noakes, that result will go to the Work Queue Monitor, so the electronic fax, just for a private facility such as Brook Radiology, which I know you use a lot. If you order the imaging and your patient goes to the RHS medical imaging and you order it from the Noakes location, that result will go to the clinic inbox.
And then verify that when you say it comes in electronically through the Work Queue Monitor, does it still go into the clinic inbox solution so that it still gets reviewed in the same way, or how is that reviewed?
Yeah, so Kim will index the document to the chart, so it will end up in documents, and she can also in Work Queue Monitor, she can also forward it to the clinic inbox. Yes, like there's an opportunity for her to put RHS Noakes clinic inbox, and then it will go there as like a it will just appear faxed.
So there's an extra step that Kim would have to do to make sure it goes to the clinic inbox.
Yeah,
Just for those initial referrals though.
yeah, and for
For
the
providers that need.
And the Brook imaging.
all right. Okay, I can show you what the clinic inbox looks like here. So usually when you open PowerChart, your landing page is Message Center, which is where we are now. The inbox tab is your personal inbox. But if you want to see the Noakes clinic inbox, you will go to the proxy tab. And I already have this one set up, and during training, someone will set it up for you. It's a one-time thing. You go to manage and you add the clinic inbox, you opt in, and then you can see it from there on. You don't have to ever touch that again. So this one, we have a few results, and you can arrange them, or you can see in the abnormal column, like if there's any critical, high, low, abnormal, it'll show you there. You can like arrange them as such. So, you know, the more pertinent ones are at the top. So if you double click on a result from here, it pops up as like the message you received in Message Center. You can see all the labs that were done and the results, the reference range, and review it this way. And then this action pane down the bottom, there's a button that says review or refuse. Like if you got it on the wrong patient, I think is probably the most common reason you would get that. But if you just want to review it, you click review. We don't want to forward this one. So if you do want to forward it, you can click that and send it to a certain provider if you need to do that. But otherwise you just click review and then you go okay and close or okay and next. So I'll do okay and next on this one. And it just takes a moment and then it will pop up with the next one. So this is a new patient, their name's at the top, and you got their birthday, year, like just their generic. So I'm trying to find my word. Non-clinical information at the top, basically, except for allergies are always there. And then you can review results that way. Another thing you can do if you want to see more in the patient's chart, if you want to see if they've had any other labs or like what the trends might have been, you can from the inbox, you can right click, you can go to open patient chart, and then you can go directly to results review. And just establish a relationship with this patient. You won't get all these pop-ups as much. And then you'll be able to see, make this bigger, they're more recent results. And if you just want to see, like for your patients, if you want to see all the life lab results, you can go to lab provincial and it will show you what or anything that's been done externally will be here. So you'll be able to see more trending that way. From, if they had blood work 4 weeks ago and then now. Yeah.
And I believe as per your comment, these things like the lab results that come in, would they be flowing? They wouldn't be flowing to results review at this time. Is that correct? The ones that are faxed in, only faxed?
So the results that will trigger the notification, these are coming to CST electronically. And they will be available, like they will trigger the notification and they will also be available in the patient chart. So no scanning is needed for these results. It's only the results that the results that doesn't flow to P-list, so it doesn't go to Care Connect. These are faxed results that you will get in the WQM, and then it has to be indexed towards the inbox to be available in the patient chart. But this is like the usual clerical workflow where they need to scan these results that comes into the WQM.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think the scenario for Noakes purposes for that would be like when you're receiving those initial labs from the provider who's referring, then they have to be indexed. You won't see those in results review. I think that's what you're saying, Mai, but the rest of like things you've ordered from Noakes will come here and you can review them this way.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to make sure. There's like so many nuances. Do you have any questions about the clinic inbox? Amy?
I'm just kind of thinking about our office workflow and how it works right now. And so trying to figure out solutions and maybe something just to put out to the team to think about. So right now when we receive results, patients, it's printed and on the paper chart for us to review. And the benefit of that is that we can open their chart to their antenatals to see why it's been ordered, and also if there's any relevant other information that we have to review. So if everything's now on CST in the clinic inbox, and we're reviewing the result, I'm wondering if the next, the additional step that might not need to be done is that the paper charts would have to be pulled by like the clerical staff to give to the doctor of the day, so that when they're going through the electronic results that they have the paper charts there. I'm just not sure how that flow is going to go. Or
I think we still will have to have a chartlet, right? Like we're still gonna have to have a chart that's got the antenatal record that will still have to be pulled for all the visits.
yeah, but I mean for the results, because for the visits, obviously they will already be pulled.
Mhm.
But when we're like the doctor of the day and we're going through the inbox, most of those charts will not be pulled. They're orders from the day before or a week before.
Oh, I see what you mean. So you want
Usually
to be able
those-
to reference the antenatal record to see why this blood result was ordered, what you're following up on.
Exactly. Yeah. And currently they are pulled every time there is a result that comes in.
I think that makes sense from a workflow. Like the charts still get pulled, but then that will require Kim. Kim's on now too. Sorry, Kim, you're jumping in right as we're discussing something. We're just talking about the inbox and the workflow. If all the results are coming in through the inbox, Amy's saying if the doctor of the day's got to review them, then probably you, Irene, still has to pull the chart so the doctor of the day can look at the chart, review the antenatal record, and then check the blood results or the ultrasounds, and then before they sign them off, know why they were ordered and what they're following up on.
And Kim can absolutely proxy into this inbox too. She can be able to look at it and see who the patients are and all that as well.
That part's still unclear to me. So like all the results come through are going to come through into the same inbox, whether they were ordered externally by the referring provider or whether they were ordered by one of our providers. They're still going to come through in the work queue monitor, or they're only going to come in the inbox. They're going to come in both.
So no, this is a situation where these results have been ordered by Noakes physicians at the Noakes location, especially for labs. Like any internal, external labs will come here, and then imaging done at RHS will come directly here. But if it's ordered by your referring physician, it will come in the work queue monitor.
Okay, so this goes in the inbox, but Kim's still going to have to tag it to the patient chart.
Anything that goes into this inbox doesn't need to be indexed into the chart. It'll already be in results review.
Okay.
Which I think I had it pulled up before. Not wrong one. It'll already be in results review just like this.
And will the inbox have like all the patients? So like just in the morning or the night before, if Kim or Irene want to pull the charts, like there's going to be a list like that with all the patients to pull.
Yeah, anything that's been received up into this exact moment in time will be here.
Okay. And then when the provider reviews it, it gets unbolded.
Yes, and if someone wants to look at something and then be like, oh, I'm not ready to do that, you can right click it and mark it as unread. So
okay. And then once they reviewed it, does it leave the inbox?
it does, yeah. The one I reviewed earlier left the inbox. So when you double click on it, if the provider is ready to review it, this review button's like pre-selected, and if that's all they want to do, they can go okay and close or okay and next, and then it falls off the list.
Okay. And then I also heard that it will get tagged to so if Amy's the doc who sees that patient and orders it, she's not the doc of the day reviewing it, it will still get sent to Amy's personal email or personal box as well.
That's correct. Yes, whoever the ordering physician still gets a copy to their personal inbox just for external results. And there is an option for providers, especially in the clinic setting, to opt out of external results as long as you're receiving them another way. So you can say they go to the clinic inbox, I don't want to receive a copy. But if you opt out, it's all or nothing. So you either get external results and the list is there and it's duplication and you do what you want with that, or you just fully opt out and you never see them except for in the clinic inbox.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then a question then about those external results that get copied to both charts, or like, sorry, both inboxes. If somebody from who is the doctor of the day who signs off on it, I think you mentioned that there is some sort of note that gets put on the results that says that it's been reviewed. So if it came to my personal inbox, I would be able to tell that somebody else has seen it and signed off. Is that correct?
I feel like Mike can probably answer. Maybe that's.
I might be able to help you with that, but yes, you can take a look of see who has been doing any action on a result. This is on the result review, or it's on this one that we can see. It was here, right? Like right click and then.
I think what Amy's asking is if
Yeah.
someone reviews it and they click OK next, their electronic signature is like automatically associated with reviewing it, which is. But how does Amy tell that from her? Can
So
she?
that's what I'm asking. Because it's not clear like on first view, but you have to right click the result and then we'll say and on the options.
You're correct, Johanna. So it's not upfront. You need to double click, like open the notification, and then on the result cell, double click on the result cell.
Okay, so
And then from action
requires-
list, this is where you can see all the names of the providers that are listed on this order. And if you pull the tab to the right, you will be able to see the stamp on each action. So
okay,
which
it's not-
review was completed, which is pending.
okay, so it's not super easy to see if somebody's signed off.
No, it's not upfront.
Good question. Oh, is there any other questions about this moment? Right, I'll pop back to the
Any
presentation.
issues with any of the ambulatory clinics where there are multiple physicians with the group inbox? Because I think from a clinical standpoint, that's the thing that we're worried about most, is that if things get missed.
I've never dealt with a clinic with this. Are you able to answer that, Mai, or anyone who has dealt with a clinic that uses the clinic inbox this way?
I certainly know of a few clinics that are using inboxes. I mean, it's a fairly common solution that's used across the Lower Mainland at this point. I haven't heard any substantial issues with that solution and with things getting missed. Eric, I don't know, have you ever heard of any issues with the clinic inbox functionality when they're doing the doctor of the day model?
No, I haven't heard anything terrible. I think it works okay.
Yeah, I think the main, limitation con of it is that you do get the duplicate result to your inbox. A lot of people don't like that, but you can opt out if you so choose. So.
I think that one of the challenges, and just to make sure that every physician understands, is that if you opt out for the full of a message center. It's not only for Noakes. You will be opting out for all results. So some of you work at UPCC. You might want to not go that route.
I see.
Yeah, if you work in multiple places, that can be a bit of an issue, but it can be done on a person by person basis. Some people are very fastidious and don't want to miss anything, and so they want everything, and other people are like, this is bugging me, and so there are some options. Do you do pooled results? I might have missed that. Do you have a doctor of the day who reviews everything?
Yes.
That often makes things a little easier.
All right. Are there any other provider questions in general? Because we're at the point where we can hop into the clerical validation. So we just want to know if there's anything else you want to hear about. I can go back to this slide to see if there's any questions or things you might want to see, but otherwise, yeah, we're at the clerical point. So if you
No other questions for myself.
Okay. Great.
So Dr. Chen, can we, in that case, assume that this workflow is validated from a provider perspective?
Yeah, I think at this point, yes, and then hopefully we'll see how things go once it's implemented.
Yeah, not to worry. Again, it's not going to be like, well, you said it's that way, so
Yeah.
you have to live with it. We're going to fix anything that doesn't work. It just,
Yeah.
if it seems like there are no huge issues, let's go. I mean, and the good news is it's worked at most other clinics, right? So it should be okay.
The antenatal record is certainly the thing that has challenged us the most. And if we eliminate that, everything else is very standard for other clinics. And
Yeah.
they've been doing it successfully for a long time. So, and we'll be glued at the hip.
Yes, that was the other point. We will have what we call at the elbow support. So persons like Emma and myself or Jessica, we're going to be just right by your side, San and Amy, and just what it works, and it works good. If it doesn't work, how we can change it. And if I don't remember how to do it, here we are to help you to go through all that.
Great. No other questions on my part.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
feel free to jump off if you need to. I know you have another session, so.
Yeah. Everyone.
Thank you so much. Julia's over in the order set session. And again, we're gone. Okay.
Great. I think we'll just jump into the clerical validation if that's okay with everyone. So we'll start with just the fax and printer pieces. This is your fax number that is shared with the PEDS clinic. Correct. I don't know why this printer thing's here. Do I need to get like the printer number from them at this point, Emma, or no?
No, devices will provide this to us.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know why it was here. And then we were supposed to ask stuff about the label printer. I know you don't give armbands or anything to your patients, and you don't collect labs in the clinic. That's correct?
We collect labs. Like we do swabs.
Oh yes, okay. So maybe that is a yes then for the label.
Yeah, like swabs and PAPs. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. Yes. Okay, we'll change that to a yes then for the label printer. Was there anything else we need to ask about the label thing, Emma?
Sorry, I cut out for a moment. When
They
you say
They
you
collect some swabs, so they need labels for that. So I guess that's a yes for the printer then?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna have a single document scanner. You'll just share one for both the clinics. And then most of the requisitions will auto print to paper. Okay, this is the slide we were going to go through work queue monitor options. I sent you and Suzanne an email about this, and you decided you wanted to see it in person. So I'm just going to go through the options, and then when Florinda is doing her demo, if you have any questions about this piece and work queue monitor, hopefully we can address them at that time, but I'll just go through the options. So option 1 is having one work queue monitor. It shows as a tab in work queue monitor. So it'll be called RHS Noakes and PEDS, or if you want it to be RHS Child Health Center, it can also be that. You'll share one fax number, and all faxes will be received and managed from a single queue. So all the maternity stuff and PEDS stuff will be in a single queue, and you'll manage them from there. Option 2, which I think is a pretty good option, is having 2 work queue monitor queues. So the primary one will be RHS Noakes, and the secondary will be PEDS. So you'll still share one fax number, and all your faxes will initially be received in the primary queue, RHS Noakes, because I know that has the higher volume. And then from there, you can index any PEDS stuff by we can show you clicking on the item and rerouting it to the PEDS clinic. So you can, deal with it later or just separate. So it requires a bit of manual separation, but it is only a few clicks. It won't require you getting another fax number. Option 3 is having 2 separate work queue monitor queues, RHS Noakes, RHS PEDS, and 2 separate fax numbers. So one clinic will have to get a new fax number if this is the route you do want to go. And we'll need to determine that sometime soonish. And all fax documents will go into their respective queues, but you will have to communicate out to the community for the one clinic that's getting a new fax number that they have to fax to a new number now. This will all make more sense hopefully when we see it in the system. This is just going through document types and work queue monitor for Noakes specifically. So when you're indexing documents, there's the main ones you'll be using your antenatal document, obstetrics referral for any referral packages, and you can also pick a document type for labs. And the physician with access would be Kim's physician scheduling clerk.
Actually, can you just go back? Oh, are you gonna demo all that?
Florinda's gonna do a demo of, she's gonna do this external referral workflow, but she will be in Work Monitor, and if we have questions specifically about, sorry, flipping around a lot, about these options, we can ask
Yeah.
them, so you can like see it, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I do have questions about that slide, but it's got it, the facts numbers.
Are you ready, Florinda, to do your demonstration? And hopefully we can pause a bit in Work Monitor to ask some things.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, thanks. Also sharing.
I'm gonna share my screen. Can you please enable me screen sharing?
Oh.
Go ahead.
Can you see my screen with the working monitor?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so the external referrals will come from family physician offices, from other hospitals that are not live with CST Cerner, such as Fraser Health Authority hospitals, usually from the community. And they will land in the electronic application called Work Monitor, which is shown here. And they will show as electronic faxes. These are some of the faxes that were received in the LGH-OB queue. So each clinic will have its own queue. I'm now in the LGH-OB, but if I want to look at another clinic's queue, I can click on the tab and I will see here a list of documents that were received in that clinic's queue. For our purpose today, we have this antenatal record, part 1 and 2. And if I want to index this to a patient chart, I will open the document and search for the patient and then index the document to the patient's chart. What Ashley was mentioning, that if you want to have 2 separate queues for RHS, Noakes, and PEDS, then probably you will need to reroute some of these faxes to the PEDS queue. So then you would, here where it says queue routing, you would select RHS, PEDS, and then click route, and this document will then go to that queue. So that, I think that was the option you were thinking of, Ashley?
Yeah, that was option 2, just for reference from the chart, and we can go back to that as well, the chart later.
Okay. So I'm going to continue, and I will index this document to the patient's chart. I will start by searching for my patient. Best practice to search by PHN, but for me it's easier to search by name. And I'm going to add a new encounter for our facility. So for documentation to be attached, orders to be placed, we need to have an encounter. So most workflows start with the creation of an encounter. For this document, we will create a referral encounter. It asked me to select the facility twice, but this only happens in our testing domain. So when you're live, you will only get that window once. And this is the referral management window. Here we have some tabs that we need to fill out. Patient information is patient level information and contains information such as address, phone number, preferred home phone number, marital status, religion, language, if they need an interpreter, if they are VIP, and so on.
So who's filling that out?
This is filled out by the registration clerks. And this information might come from CST Cerner if this is a patient who has been previously to one of the live sites, or it might come from Ministries of Health database, the EMPI.
I think
So
a lot
when
of
I
our referrals are self-referred, so then they will show up with their care card and they will be registered on this, in this encounter like this.
Yes, yes. So if you search by the patient here, CST Cerner is integrated with the EMPI. So if they present their care card, they have a valid page and number, and you do a search, the information should show up in
Like
the
auto pop, oh, like their address will
Yes.
auto populate.
yes, yeah,
Oh, handy.
yes,
handy.
and
Okay.
yes, yeah.
So almost all BC patients are already in EMPI, like in the ministry data
Yes.
set.
Yes.
It's the out of countries that you would be seeing a lot more of having to do the full registration and add a whole person into the system.
Awesome.
You can also, sorry, I wanted to show you can also add an email address in here. The encounter information is the next steps that we need to fill out, and the medical service, just to confirm, for your clinic is going to be obstetrics,
Family practice.
family practice. Referring provider is another mandatory field. I'm going to use one of our test doctors. Here is the insurance information. So here you can select if they're covered by MSP or if they're visiting from another province, if they're from out of country, you can select the applicable health plan. And here are two other mandatory fields, the referral received date. So you can say it was on the 4th of October, and I'm gonna set the referral status to ready for triage. And I will click complete. And this process has created an encounter for the patient. And now we can index this document to the patient's chart. For most purposes, we would use a referral package. I'm not sure if for this clinic you want to use obstetrics referral package or general referral package. Ashley, any thoughts here? Or maybe even antenatal?
Yeah, there's its own thing.
Yes, antenatal, record
Good
part
part
1 and 2. Okay. I'm gonna take this out because I don't want it to go there. I'm gonna status to complete. And the referring provider for scanned documents is defaulted to scanned document.
Oh, and can we just pause here for a sec? Can you show, I think it's in this other provider field up here where she can forward it to the Noakes inbox. Like if in the provider field, you can type in this one where it says requested sign, requested review, that's where you can set things, right?
Yes, so do we want them to review or sign?
I think
review in a lab case.
Yeah, this would be for labs, but we're just to show it here how you would send it to. So to send it to the clinic inbox in this situation, you type in RHS Noakes clinic and then it would populate just like Florinda's did.
Yeah, so you search for the provider. At first you have to click request review or sign and then search for the provider and add them here. And they would get a request in the message center to review this document. And I'm gonna click OK. And the document has been indexed to the patient's chart. Ashley, you also wanted me to show some blood work or? no, like I only found some colorful example on the internet. Do we want to attach this one too? It's the same process.
No, I don't, unless they want to see the process again, I don't think we need to show it. I think the main thing we wanted to show was how to send it to the clinic inbox, and we just kind of addressed that field. So unless Kim wants to see it again, I think that's probably okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you.
By setting the referral to ready for triage, this will send it to the provider to triage it. So I'm also logged in here as an OBGYN. And if I go to the referral management tab and look for my clinic, I can see the patient here. They're ready for triage. And I'm going to go in as a triaging provider.
And Kim, this was, I think, before you were able to join, but Dr. Chen said that often you just book the patients right away. But these would be for those patients that you want them to just double check that this is okay for family practice versus OB, or if there's scheduling conflicts and they need to triage who's seen first, this is the workflow that you would be using for those patients.
Yeah, so patients that you're just going to book directly, you wouldn't set to ready for triage. You would just like accept it and then book the appointment.
Okay, the antenatal documents that we attached are here under documentation. So the triaging provider can review this, and if they decide that this patient is appropriate to be seen in your clinic, you can place an order to accept this referral. And we are going to ask for the next available appointment. And the appointment requested is maternity new, and I'm going to sign it. And now the order is sending a request to the clerical pool to create an appointment for this patient. So I'm going to jump into the clerical application. This is called the scheduling appointment book, and it's organized on bookshelves and books for Richmond Health Hospital, Richmond Hospital Noakes Clinic. It's named RHS Child Health Center bookshelf, and it has the pediatric book and the Noakes maternity book. And the appointments, these are some of the appointments somebody booked here, just for an example. But for our purpose, we are going to continue and look for our request that the provider just sent to our request list. To see the requests that come from orders, I'm gonna do a request list by location, and select ambulatory maternity feature requests for RHS is Noakes. And our patient is here. I can see that an order has been placed to accept referral and book this patient for an appointment. So I'm gonna complete this request and enter the appointment details. Foreign provider is one of the mandatory fields if we need an interpreter or not. And the visit modality will be in person. I'm going to click OK, and at the appointment we get to the work in progress window, and here we can look up at the next available date and time. And let's say we want to book it for 12. Click OK and confirm this appointment. It's getting in my way. So we need to select our referral encounter. And the appointment has been booked. At this point, I will also flip the encounter. And with patient on the phone, I will confirm the date and time of the appointment and pre-register the patient for their appointment.
Oh,
No,
it doesn't, it's not a big deal. We usually use pre-register outpatient and then the outpatient OB, pre-outpatient OB will be an option, but that's okay.
oh, okay, we can go back. And that's the only information we need to select when we pre-register them. And now the appointment shows in turquoise, so it's confirmed. Does anybody have any questions? Anything else you would like me to show?
I'm not sure if Kim took her headphones off for us or for a patient who's walked in.
I think she's talking to a patient.
I assume it's a patient. Suzanne, any thoughts on this process?
Not really. I think, have to get back on. Yeah, she's talking about. I mean, the scheduling piece sounds pretty straightforward. I think it's more the workflows around managing all the results, I think is the more abstract piece for us. There she is. Welcome back, Kim.
Sorry,
They were
there's
just
lots of
asking
people
you.
here.
They're asking if you had any questions, comments, concerns, feedback.
No, not yet.
No questions?
No.
What do you think? Does it seem workable?
I don't know. It's still really confusing, but yeah, I guess.
Scheduling piece seems pretty like easy for me to understand, do you think, or no?
She'll help you right over there. Again, it's all really, I don't know. I'm sure once we start using it, it'll be fine. Like I said, it's just to wrap my head around it right now is kind of hard.
But so far seems the scheduling piece seems
Yeah.
clearish.
Yeah.
Talking about doing a work, I think you guys have booked it in the calendar, hey, like next Tuesday.
Yes.
Because Kim, 24th is looks good
Yep.
for you for now.
Yep.
Okay. You guys have booked in. You booked 10 to 3. Is that? Do you think that'll?
So we're gonna be on site the whole time, and so
Okay.
whatever works. Like we can hang out with Kim for as long as she'll tolerate us, and then we've got another office that we can go to, and we'll just hopefully see you at some point. But if there's a particular time that you've like, if you have an opening in there,
Does that work, Kim, for you next Tuesday?
Yeah. I mean, we had double clinics all day, but yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out.
Full clinic, Dr. Label and Dr. Tong, it looks like. Yeah, okay. I think it'll be good because I think if Ashley and Emma come over, and Julia, I don't know if she's coming too, but if they come over and kind of see our workflow of it, the idea was that be able to help us sort of work out some of the questions we have about where all the faxes should go, where the results should go, how we're going to tag it. I ideally would love it if you guys would get in some visits too. I think it'll just be up to the provider and the patient, but I think definitely worth seeing because you haven't been at antenatal clinics doing it. Although I know a lot of other ambulatory care clinics are, but I think, yeah, like if the patients and the doctor don't mind you going in for a couple visits to just sort of like see their flow in the room, I think it'll help.
Sure. Can do.
Okay. Thanks, Florinda. I can jump back to presenting if you want. Can anyone see my screen yet? Yes, okay.
I think Florinda is presenting as well still.
Please take it away from me. I don't know how to stop it.
Okay, let me see. Oh, I think
It
it's-
minimized the window somewhere and I don't know where it went.
I think it's sorted. Thanks,
Okay.
Carmen.
Go back. Okay. So I don't know if seeing what WorkQMonitor sort of looks like and how the tabs work, if you have any idea of how you want to proceed with the facts, or do you want to like mull it over? I don't know, any thoughts on that or questions further about it?
I'm just not really sure because we've had the one line for so long. So I think it's probably like the second choice is probably the best one still.
So the second choice where everything goes to a primary and then you can move things to the secondary?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I'll let CST know that and we'll go with that for now. You know, if it needs to be changed, it can be later, but I think it will work pretty well for you, especially since Peds Clinic is much lower volume, right? Yeah, okay, great. We will go with that for now. Where was I? We did the demo. So this is the workflow we just talked about. We mostly talked about external referral just then because that's how you receive most of your referrals. Any questions about the workflow before we move on? Okay. Just being mindful of time. I don't think we have too much more to get through. I think they went through this at the scheduling validation a lot. So are all these encounter types looking like what you discussed? Pre-outpatient OB and outpatient OB for pregnant patients, and then pre-outpatient outpatient for sorry, there's not as much info in here, but those would be for postpartum patients and babies. And then there's always the option of phone consult, virtual health, and then the referral is how you attach the referral package. Does that all sound about right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then they also did this at the scheduling, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but these are the 6 appointment types we discussed: maternity new, maternity prenatal follow-up, and prenatal follow-up with exam, postpartum follow-up, baby follow-up, and then block time. Does that sound about right as well?
Yep.
Okay, great.
And Kim, the follow-up clinic order, it's an order that the provider can place at the time of seeing their patient, saying, I want you to come back in a week. They place that order, it goes to your queue so that you are notified that you need to book another appointment. They said that because the appointments are usually quite standard, they probably don't need to do that. They'll just send them over to you as they normally do to book the appointment. But it's there just in case they decide to use something for a weird one.
Okay.
Thanks, Emma. Okay, and then we just saw what the bookshelf looks like, and we talked about this at schedulings. And you are going to be getting automated appointment reminders, which sends the patient like a text, I believe, or an email if they signed up that way, for their appointments. And you went over all that with Rance. Okay, so this, sorry, I didn't know this was here again. This is the same slide about the prior to clinic visit workflow. So we kind of just went over this, so I won't spend too much time on it. So the day of the patient visit, you're going to find the patient's appointment in the scheduling appointment book and check them in. And at that point is when you'll flip the encounter from pre-outpatient to outpatient. We didn't go over that today, but it's the same encounter large window that Florinda is in, where you can like update any phone numbers, address kind of stuff. And then when the patient leaves, the departure piece, you'll provide them with any printed requisitions, forms, materials, because it probably comes to the printer at your desk, I'm assuming, unless the rooms have printers. And then you can also book follow-up appointments as per your usual process, where they like wait at your desk and you book it then, or they can use the follow-up order. That can be worked out. at any point, or you can use both workflows. That's totally fine.
The
Any
rooms all have
questions?
printers, so the doc should be able to print the recs and give it to the patient themselves.
Sorry, what was that?
The rooms all have printers.
Oh, okay, okay. So they might just be able to hand it to the patient too. Okay. Sounds good. I don't. Form Fast is something you'll be using to access some of your forms right now. Like if I'm trying to think of an example, you guys sent us that's scanned document of all the forms right now that you use that are paper. I guess Kim looks like she's otherwise engaged, but right now you'll be able to find them on Form Fast, which is a program you access from PowerChart, and you just look up like an electronic version of that form and print it off if you need to send like a special referral somewhere for a patient. Like something in the community where there won't be an order for that. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to talk about discharge, which we kind of already went over, but for the clerical pieces, encounters for the Noakes Clinic will automatically discharge at midnight. So Kim won't need to like discharge all the encounters as the patient leaves. This is just a step that the system will do automatically. She'll book follow-up appointments as per one of the two processes we talked about before. And she is going to fax antenatal record to the birth center at 20 weeks and 36 weeks and beyond. As you said, sometimes you fax it like weekly after that, and that's fine. And they'll do the transcription. So there won't be any transcription done by Kim. So that's less workload for you. Does that all sound about right? Okay. And the final thing is just reports. These are standard reports that you're gonna have access to as a clinic. There's a scheduling statistics report to show stats based on appointment types and things like that. There's also the schedule by location. These are all things that you can manually print. And then we spoke about this in the provider piece, but there's something called the clinic flag. So when the patient is registered with the clinic, it's associated with them now. So if they get admitted to the hospital, you'll get a notification message center. I know obviously you're expecting all your patients to get admitted eventually, so I guess you'll just know now exactly when they show up at the hospital, and some of these messages you won't have to action. You're like, oh, they're in labor, they're there, great. Or if the providers need to know about it, you can notify them. I think that's about it for today. Is there any further questions about anything we just discussed? I know we went through some of that last stuff really quickly, so.
I'm wondering if we can revisit the results portion, like the clinic inbox from Kim's perspective. Because I don't think you were here, Kim, when we were talking about that with Dr. Chen. And it's instead of receiving results on the way that you're receiving them now, which I believe is a paper fax that's coming in, it'll come through this inbox, and I'll let Ashley demo what's going on.
So when the Noakes providers order anything from the Noakes location, some of the results will come here. So the results that will come to the clinic inbox when they're ordered from the Noakes location, or when the inbox is CC'd on the order, will be labs that are done at Richmond lab, or any labs done at Life Labs, as long as they've been ordered by Noakes. Any imaging done at Richmond medical imaging, the results will come here. So it's all automatic. You don't have to index them or fax or anything. The only results that are going to come through your fax are stuff from Brook Radiology or any other private radiology. So I know your patients go there a lot for their ultrasounds, and also any labs that have been sent by a referring provider, because they'll just be part of like a referral package. So those two scenarios, the private radiology and labs from a referring provider, will have to be indexed to the chart, but otherwise everything will automatically come here. So this is called the clinic inbox. Providers will proxy into it. It's a one-time setup thing, so I'm not going to go over it because you can also proxy into it. So if you need to, this is how you can go through the list of patients and results and pull the charts if you need to. This column here will show you if anything's abnormal or not. So critical, high, low, abnormal. You'll see the numbers. So like abnormal 2 means that there's 2 results in here that are abnormal. So you can arrange this column by clicking it. So I think if this way, the most critical things are at the top. If you do click into something to review it or just to look at it, You can see all the results and what's specifically is, you know, critical or whatever. It's the provider's duty to do the actions down here in the pane, so it automatically review selected, and they can just click OK and next, and it will go to the next result for them. For your purposes, if you're going to be in here and like clicking in and you want to, and you're like, oh, it looks like someone's read it now, but I want them to still see this one, you can just right click it and mark it as unread. So you can go in here and look around at anything you need to look around at. I don't know, how do you think this will work with your exact workflow? Like, does it make sense how this inbox functions, I guess?
It does, but again, like for us here, like with the charts, like that's the part that I'm kind of missing. Like, are we still pulling the chart and then it's still going to go into an actual chart or no?
I think Dr. Chen discussed that that they probably do still want the charts pulled so they can like see the antenatal record and then see the results here. I think that's what was
Yeah, because the antenatal record is going to be on paper, there's always going to be a component of pulling the chart. So I think this is where you get the list of charts that you need to pull. And it provides you the lab results that need to be transcribed onto antenatal records and then handed like in a pile to the provider of the day, who is going to be reviewing the results that have come through that you have already transcribed. So maybe this would be like an end of day thing where, you know, you save half an hour or an hour or so to go through all the results that have come in that day, pull all the charts for those patients, transcribe them, and then put them in a pile for tomorrow. And then the doctor of the day would go through each chart, sign them off in Message Center so that they disappear from this list, and then you start again in the evening. Does that, I don't know,
So
from what you said, Suzanne, earlier, I feel like that maybe is what happened.
Well, yeah, so there's not going to be any paper of the actual result in the chart now. It'll just be the antenatal in the chart then?
That's correct.
Okay.
So they will.
So it'll eliminate, Kim, your filing. Well, it'll eliminate your paper filing.
And the
That
revised-
whole list will be there for the doctor of the day. If you guys pull all the charts and leave them for the Noakes doctor will go in, open the inbox, and will like grab a patient, read the results, flip through the antenatal record, sign off on the results, or action something.
And if they need to see past results, like as long as it's not the initial stuff from the referring provider, they'll be able to come into the patient's chart here to results review, and they can see trends and past results as well. So there doesn't need to be like a stack of paper so they can refer back to other results, because it will be here for them. So hopefully this will cut down on that part of your workload. Yeah. And you know, if you do the workflow where you make the stack of charts the night before and then you come in the next morning, there probably is likely to be more results. You can always, you know, sort these columns by the date and put all the new ones at the top and either pull them quickly or decide how that's going to work, if you're going to like save them for the next day or whatever. And the doctors can do the same by organizing by date or patient name, whatever works for them. Like they can, if you sort by patient name, it does it by last name, which is not obvious here because they're all the same, but it should be pretty easy for them to like have the chart and then find the patient in this scenario. Yeah. Does that make sort of sense? Clear as mud?
Yeah.
All right. So next steps are that I believe there's a scheduling validation session. Well, I thought it was October 31st, but I got an invite today for the 24th. What do you, I don't know, Emma, I haven't.
The 24th is for OB clinic upstairs.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so it's the
Okay.
31st. Okay, thank you. I was like getting them mixed up. And the order set session is today, as you know, Suzanne. There'll be a clinic workshop at some point. TBD, that's gonna be in the new year, I believe. And if you have any questions, you can email me or Julia.
The 31st, Irene is off. So if I need to be part of that one, I will not be able to.
You are the most important person for that meeting. So.
She's off that day.
I don't have anything in my calendar for the 31st either. And is there another meeting today?
Today, the meeting is the OB order set session. that's happening concurrently. So Dr. Chen, that's what she went off to.
Oh, okay, so I don't have an invite for that one. That's a provider thing. Yeah, 31st, there's nothing in my calendar.
But Irene is off, so I will not be able to unless we can get someone else in here.
Okay, let me pull up the scheduling stuff. What is a day that you would like? So let's do it that way. I'll just tell them it needs to be.
No, anything else is fine.
Is there a day, Kim, where there's lower clinics would be? Let's see.
Not right now. We're slammed right now with all the stats and stuff. Yeah.
The second, it looks like there's no morning clinic. Is that true?
Yeah, any Thursday morning is fine. It's just peds Thursday morning.
That might be easier. Hey guys, can you do November 2nd?
I think probably I will ask.
All right, well, that one's TBD then. Yeah. That was all I have for you guys, and we took up almost every minute of time. So is there any further questions? Or I know we're gonna come to you next Tuesday, have lots of chats then and see how the clinic works. And Emma's gonna hopefully try to change, well, it should be fine, trying to change the scheduling session, so, yeah.
Perfect. We'll see you next week.
Thank you
So much.
Okay, bye.